Okay, it is 6:30. I'd like to call this meeting of council to order and acknowledge that the city of Winkler is situated on Treaty 1 land, home of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples in the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories and dedicate ourselves to a future based on respect for all peoples, moving forward to a harmonious, prosperous future together. Be it resolved that the agenda for this regular council meeting of July 8th, 2025 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Ryan.
Marvin beat you there, Ryan. Any changes or additions to that agenda? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of June 24th, 2025 be adopted. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Ryan.
They are attached. Any comments on what you see there? All in favor? Carried. You've got a piece of correspondence there from the Winkler Medical Clinic. They have opened their new facility on First Street in Winkler. Basically an invitation to come in and take a peek and see what's all going on there.
Heard some good things. So, you're gonna walk in,
I haven't been there yet.
I haven't either, one luck, but anyways, walk-in style, I guess, and stuff like that. At least on WhatsApp Winkler, I follow the feed there a bit, and it was good, some good,
And they say they have doctors there.
yeah, yeah, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay,
Not a bad thing then.
No, it takes pressure off of the rest, there are.
any doctor in Winkler is good.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Moving forward then, be it resolved that accounts payable in the amount of $997,236.76 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Andrew?
Second.
Don,
Anybody able to open that?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Why can't I?
oh, they blocked you, hey?
Yeah.
Maybe.
If you've had a chance to take a look at them, do you have any questions on what you see?
No.
You're okay if we ask the question? If you have further questions, you'll follow
Yep.
it up, Andrew?
Yep.
Fair enough. All in favor? Carried. The next one, be it resolved that bylaw number 2350-25 be read a first time and submitted to the municipal board for approval. Mover?
Marvin.
Second.
Ryan.
This is our debenture for the water treatment plant. It's attached there. Jody, I'm not sure if you have any comments that we should be aware of. We're obviously well within the numbers that we originally submitted. We are able to borrow up to $8 million for that project due to careful work by our staff and managing our budget extremely well. We're only needing to send $4 million. We had a competitive request for tenders on it. We had 4 submissions, of which RBC was the lowest, but they were really, really tight. It was good to see that people were interested in our business. It was good, obviously, to be able to have options.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is bylaw number 1. We'll send it to the municipal board. It'll come back to us for second and third reading later. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the attached utility arrears be added to their respective tax rolls. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Michael?
They are attached for your reference. Again, names have been removed, but you're able to see those totals and you're able to see the roll numbers. Any questions on what you see there?
Nope.
Jody, anything particularly concerning that you see on that list? It
No.
seems somewhat normal.
Yeah, it varies from quarter to quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we look at the same quarter last year, in this case, it's almost like it's very close. 2 years ago this quarter, it was double that. So it does vary quite a bit. I don't see any regular pattern necessarily.
Yeah,
Okay,
and only one big one, so that's nice.
that's very
fairly
nice to
big.
see.
Mm-hmm.
That one big one skews the numbers, but
Yeah.
ultimately, good to see.
Yeah.
Not seeing anything further, all those in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the Winkler Fire Department report for June 2025 be received for information. Mover?
Michael.
Second.
Peter?
Thank you. The report is attached. Anything that we should be taking a look at?
Nothing so much out of the report. I mean, the month was down, the year was up. A lot of the standard stuff there with vehicle accidents, but not on the report, I think. Just thanking the fire department, they got called to assist, can't remember where, but some of them
Thompson.
were, yeah, out by Thompson there.
It's really, really nice that we are able to step in when our neighbors are hurting to help out. We're sending 5 members and a tanker and a pumper and a command unit up there. I suspect that each one of these, or most of the 5, have jobs as well, and the fact that they're able to take leaves from those jobs to be able to help a very hurting northern Manitoba community right now, I think is a fantastic thing. And once again, it shows who our community are, from the firefighters on to the businesses that support them, that allow those kinds of things to happen. And certainly, if we were in a position like that, we would love it if our neighbors came to help.
Yep.
So it is a good thing that we're able to do so. Also good that we have enough members here that our community continues to be well protected. We have a neighboring mutual aid, if in fact we have a significant issue. We have plenty of equipment to deal with our own fires, but if we have a significant concern, we have a very good mutual aid group that would come here to then assist us. So it's, I believe, a very positive thing.
And actually,
Absolutely.
the mutual aid district coordinates kind of how, which members and which units go in the aid district as well, so we don't leave one community high and dry by some going and the rest not, so it's a very well coordinated effort.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Please.
add also that because of Chief Patzold's experience, he was also called upon by the OFC to help with logistics
Yes.
in Thompson right now, because the people there, like, they need relief.
Yeah.
Fatiguing from the length of
Yeah.
time that they've been fighting these fires, so,
I can
you know,
only
while
imagine.
our members are out in Leaf Rapids, close to Thompson, he's, part of the time stayed behind to help with some of the other logistics and commanding.
Yeah.
It's very nice to see. We're blessed to have a good organization like that, that's extremely well managed for the region, that allows some of this to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Thankful for that.
Yeah.
How about these iPhone crash notifications, are those false or are those actual?
These 4 were, well, where just the phone fell off
Okay.
and so on. But we have responded, so we were talking about that on the department, would we? Because some people say, well, I'm going to take that option off my phone. Well, we're not encouraging to do that. We have responded where we got called to a response where we wouldn't have gotten called to till somebody else passed by if it hadn't been for this. So
My concern is a little bit, is it, like, if we're sending out a crew, is it gonna be like false alarms? Like, you know, over 10% of them are, and I play pickleball with a buddy of mine, and his, you know, all of a sudden he's gotta stop the game. Oh, he says 911, they, you know, my phone wants to call 911, you know, so he has to quickly stop it. You know, so so I'm just wondering and it's a great feature, but if it's gonna create a lot of
Yeah.
false,
Well, I think, that's the way it is. It's designed to do exactly that.
well, you
If
know,
I
I
drop
don't,
my phone and I check it out, then I call, and they will call you back if you don't.
yeah.
And then if there's no answer, then obviously there's potential for something where somebody is unable to respond,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, no, it's good, and then also bad if it's lots of false,
Yeah.
because, you know, if you're sending crews out.
And we generally have, Chief Patzold is very good at communicating to committee if he has a concern
Yeah.
around false alarms
Yeah.
or a
Oh,
concern
yeah, I
around
know.
something. It's good that you note that, and certainly
Yeah.
we should make mention of that. But if it does become a concern,
Mhm.
we'll have to take a look further at it. We would
Yeah.
anticipate that committee would bring a recommendation to us. But
Yeah.
in that instance, it's a really good question.
Because years ago when I started fire, then it was false alarms, you
Right.
know, and it was like, it's costly, you know, for the taxpayers, everybody to, you know, and for the people, but anyways, yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Those are carried. Be it resolved that the Pembina Valley Water Cooperative minutes for the June 20th, 2025 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Marvin?
Second.
Ryan.
Thank you. I think Pete got you there, Ryan. Again, minutes are attached. Do we have any questions or comments on those minutes?
Maybe just a few comments. We've engaged on a rate study and submitted it, and we're hoping that we'll get the information or the come back by October. And the other one, another thing that we're working on is looking at alternate water sources. You're all aware of the fact that the Pembina Valley Water Co-op did a very thorough study this winter of all possible ponds and whatever, wherever that we could do it, and now we're going to working on narrowing it down to a few possible sources that we're going to actually put energy into pursuing. So that's, I think that's another thing. And then if any of you are interested in touring one of our plants, I think some of you got a chance in spring. We're doing 2 tours. One will be in September 9th in the Stephenfield plant, and the Morris plant on September 15th. So just if you're interested in seeing how the technology works in there, you're welcome to it.
Thank you, Marvin.
Can't take advantage, or can't take for granted how complicated it is to have good, clean, safe water.
Agreed. No further comments. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Winkler District Healthcare Board meeting minutes for the May 22nd, 2025 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Marvin?
Second.
Don?
Minutes are attached. Comments or things that we should pay particular heed to?
Well, we're always working on physician recruitment, so that is an ongoing thing, and we are cautiously hopeful for more to come in the next little while. As those of you know, that when the healthcare board was formed, it wasn't just formed just to have doctors. It's for the whole total healthcare initiative in town. So we have. It's awesome that we have other partners. We have Salem Home and Eden as our partners also in there, and Salem has actually a growing waiting list. And in terms of Eden, I think it's the first time in many years that we have a report of any of our partners and organizations reporting that they're fully staffed.
Fantastic.
So yeah, so there's hope that maybe we'll have some of the rest of us getting there too. So yeah, so it's moving in the right direction there.
Thank you, Marvin. If there are no further thoughts or questions, all in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Community Futures Heartland Board meeting and AGM minutes from June 19th, 2025 be received for information. Mover?
Ryan.
Second.
Michael?
They're both attached. It's nice to see those minutes back on our agenda, so we have an opportunity to review them. Ryan, thank you for agreeing to sitting on that board, and getting involved. I see you've allowed yourself to be appointed to some committees as well. Well done.
Yeah, I think it was more voluntold, but yeah, no, it's good.
Excellent. Anybody have any questions of what you see? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting of June 24th, 2025 be adopted. Mover?
Don?
Second.
Ryan.
They are attached. Any thoughts on anything that you see there?
I don't think so.
All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that council approve subdivision number 4463-25-8471, subject to a variance approval on a development agreement with terms to be in accordance with the city's report to council. Mover.
Don?
Second.
Michael?
Thank you. That puts it on the floor. Do we have anything that we have questions of? Jody, is there anything that we need to be particularly aware of past the application and the notes that we see here?
No, hopefully everyone saw the note that was added in Catalyst there about the interior renovation permit. So there's, that just impacts some parking for the subdivision, which can be managed either later through a variance or through a parking management plan. And then just to note that along with this subdivision come the need for rezoning as well as some major variances. So the subdivision application is here today. In August, there will be a public hearing to discuss those matters of the rezoning and the major variances.
Okay, thank you, Jody. Today, though, we're only looking at the subdivision.
That's right.
But sure, it's nice to have plans to know what.
I agree.
Mhm.
Because it's pretty hard to say, yeah, this makes sense, and then you see the plans and whatever the parking's at issue, whatever the issue is, then it's,
In this point, our developer will have expended expense and obviously doing this at risk by not having both hearings at the same time.
yeah.
But the decision in front of us is specifically the subdivision.
And just to note on that question of parking, like for the residential portion of the subdivision, as noted in the report to council by staff, there is adequate on-site parking according to our regulations.
Thank you.
So it's more the commercial part of the subdivision that has need for parking.
The three concerns that I have is 3 red dots, 2 for density and 1 for variance. One is going from 15 dwelling units per acre to 20. That's a major variance. And then going from the recommended 4 units to 5, which would keep them, 4 units would keep them within the proper density.
So if we approve 4 units next time, then they have a 20-foot lot left.
Yeah, exactly. And they've done this for nothing.
Or they would have to
Or they have to
adjust their
redo it, yeah.
application.
How does that work if they would adjust their application?
I think they would have, Stephanie would know this for sure, but I think they would have to withdraw that application and submit a
For
new
one.
Mhm.
subdivision application and plan.
Okay, would there be an option to put this, to defer this so we could have it at the same time? Is
Yeah,
that
you're-
within our right
Sure.
or to do
Your,
that?
your 3 options today are vote in favor, or it gets defeated, or you defer it to the date when we have the public hearing, which I believe is scheduled for the first council meeting in August.
To me, it would make more sense to defer it to the August meeting so that, like Don was saying, then at least we have the plans and we can kind of see and take it all together.
Yeah, because they subdivide 5, we say you can only build 4. What do you got, 20, like, 5, you have a 20-foot lot?
And
I
think-
don't know, it's just interesting.
And I suspect the reason that this is here is that they're trying to get a jump start on their planning because it'll take some time to get the subdivision approved. So the hope is to be able to have several things happen at the same time. I look at this project and I see that the backyard is the church parking lot. It seems to make a lot of sense. It seems to fit well. But obviously, I'll ask for council to provide some direction in terms of where they'd like to go.
And just to comment on that, I believe that is correct, and the subdivision is going to be the longest.
Correct.
It will take the longest of the things that they need to do. So I also believe that they're trying to get a jump on that.
We do know, and I believe our staff have communicated clearly to the developer, that there is a risk in going through this earlier than the rest of the hearings. So the developer is aware that there is a risk to it. That helps me to understand that this makes some sense, and we also have a developer that has some history in development in our community, so it's not that it's going to be somebody who's never done this before and is confused by process and ends up in a place that's going to be hard to come back from afterwards. The developer recognizes that there is a risk to what we're looking to do, but there is also opportunity for them to move this forward a little bit more quickly to provide five additional housing units into our community.
Yep.
In an area where we desperately need more housing units.
Yeah, so they understand the risks. I mean,
That's where I am as well.
And to comment on that, that's why we worded the resolution the way that we did, that if you do approve this, that it would be subject to those other approvals.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cause they gotta put, where are they gonna put stormwater retention down there? Like-
Yeah, those are the kind of
On-site
things.
sound.
Conditions that are.
part of
That,
their
that
development
would, yeah,
agreement.
those would be some of the things that would be addressed when they do the rezoning.
So if it is subject to these other approvals, can they go ahead? Because it might not, if we don't approve that, then this one wouldn't go ahead, or?
Well, what would happen is if we approve this today, then, we don't approve either the rezoning or the variances, then that would put a stop to it. And then, like we mentioned earlier, they would have to come up with a new plan. They'd probably have to cancel their subdivision application and redo it. So, and that is exactly the risk that
Mhm.
they're aware of and they're doing in hopes of saving
Yeah.
time. That, I think, is the goal.
We have further discussion on this. Final questions maybe before we move forward and ask the question?
To me, it's putting the wagon in front of the horse, but
But whatever, as long as they know the risk.
Yeah.
And I think that's key for me. We have a developer that recognizes that this is outside of normal process, but they're trying to move as quickly as they can. And there is some inherent risk in it. They're aware of that risk. And the fact that this is in front of us means that they're accepting of that risk.
But to me, it's assume, when they do this, they're assuming that it's gonna get passed,
That is certainly their hope.
Yeah.
totally.
It's their hope.
That is their hope.
Well, let me put forward a motion to defer and then see where that goes to the next hearing. See whether council wants to make the decision today or defer it.
The motion to defer needs a second and a vote. Is that correct, Jody? Okay.
Yeah.
Councillor Platt has put forward a motion to defer. Do we have a second?
I would second.
Ryan, a second. Any thoughts on that motion?
I like it, but I don't, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if they wanted us to defer, they would have not put this application in, right?
Great. But we do have a motion on the floor.
Yep.
If we can discuss it further, or if we don't have further thoughts, we can take the vote on that motion. I don't see further thoughts. All in favor of deferral? 2, and opposed? And that is 5. So that motion has been defeated. We're back to our original motion already on the floor for approval of this subdivision. Do we have any additional comments on that?
No.
Not seeing anything there. It looks like we're ready for the question. All in favor? That gives us 6. All opposed? Sorry, that's 5 in favor, 2 opposed, Jody. Okay, and that is
Got it.
carried. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Continuing to the rest of our meeting, it brings us to item 15, questions from the media or public relevant to this meeting of council. Not seeing anything in chambers. Wendy, anything online? Not seeing anything there either. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover?
Ryan?
Ryan got it, Pete got the second. All in favor? We're carried.